Hello, first tonight, thousands of people have lined the streets of Cambridge to welcome the Royal Anglians home from their third tour of duty in Afghanistan.
The march was their second of the day. This morning they were in Huntingdon. Mike Cartwright was there and he's in Cambridge now. Mike.
Yes, Stuart, I hope you can hear me over the speeches, but take a look. You can see the Royal Anglians now lined up here outside of King's. They marched their way down through the streets of Cambridge. They're back from their third tour where they lost 5 of their number. They also had 30 men injured. Some of those injuries horrendous. Now, we've seen a small anti-war protest, but on the whole we've seen streets lined with people cheering and applauding. We saw similar scenes in Huntingdon earlier. Bayonets fixed, drums beating, a company, 100 Vikings paraded in, applauded, cheered. They came to attention under the watch of those who'd fought before them. On their third tour of Afghanistan, 5 of the regiment lost their lives. Among them, 19-year-old Robert Hayes, killed by a bomb in January. Today, at his primary school at Burwell near Cambridge, a special service for their former pupil remembered for being excellent at sport. Among the soldiers who raised a flag in his honour, Robert's best friend, watching alongside Robert's mother.
Very proud, very, what can I say? It's lovely.
And coming back to his old school, how does that make you feel?
Very strange. It's a long time since I've been here, and yeah, it's something that's going to go on every year.
He was a gleaming lad. He was one of the best. It's a cliche that they say in the papers all the time that, you know, and when they get it written up, he was a great soldier, but he really was. He was the best.
In Huntingdon, many said they just had to be there.
I've been connected with the military all my life, and this is just my way of saying thank you.
Just to support the soldiers, a good job they're doing.
Just to show respect and how proud we are of our soldiers.
And how did you feel as they were marching past?
Oh, very proud, emotional.
In a foreign land, they saw some of the fiercest fighting. At home today, thousands said thank you. Well, this has all come on the same day that the Defence Secretary, Liam Fox, urged patience and for Britain to hold its nerve in Afghanistan. He also warned of big and long-term defence cuts. It seems in a climate of a budget deficit, no one's safe from cuts, even the army. Back to you.
Mike, thank you very much. Well, we saw that parade in Huntingdon earlier today. While that was going on, just a few yards away, an inquest was being held into the death of a TA soldier from Oakington who was killed in Afghanistan. Just a few days before he died, Andrew Fentiman had written a blog about not having new body armour. But the inquest made it clear the new armour would not have saved his life.
This is the Osprey Mark III as worn by rifleman Fentiman. And this, the Osprey Assault, the armour he so eagerly anticipated. Today the court was told it was designed to be more wearable, but offered exactly the same protection.
Andrew Fentiman was killed by a single gunshot wound which entered about here, a centimetre outside the line of the vest, and passed straight through his chest. The court was told that neither version of the body armour would have saved him.
It was an argument accepted by his family.
We are confident that no practical body armour would have provided him with any more protection, thus preventing his death, which was mercifully probably instantaneous. We wish that this issue had not detracted from the sacrifice that he made.
Kevin Fentiman dismissed his son's blog, saying like most young people he simply wanted the latest kit. But he wasn't like most young men. Andrew Fentiman was a graduate who joined the TA so he could serve with the rank and file before becoming an officer. He was shot as they tried to secure a village in the Helmand Green Zone from the insurgents.
He was a walking advertisement for all that is good and true about today's territorial army. Fentiman had so many opportunities ahead of him, yet he chose to serve his country and his regiment before taking up the challenge of being commissioned into the regular army as a regular army officer.
The inquest recorded a verdict that he was unlawfully killed whilst in the service of his country. Nikki Jenkins, BBC Look East at Huntingdon.
Hundreds of school children were kept locked in their classrooms today as armed police dealt with a siege in a street nearby. Officers were called to Lancaster Way in Braintree after reports that a man had been brandishing a sword. The incident lasted for more than 4 hours. Gareth George is there now. Gareth.
Well, this is Lancaster Way on a housing estate in Braintree, right at the
far end of the street, there's a rest home, and just opposite us here there are also two schools, a junior school and an infant school, attended by hundreds of children. It's the worst possible place for a police siege situation, but unfortunately that's exactly what happened earlier today. These pictures show a man leaning out of a flat shouting abuse at police officers. He'd barricaded himself in and was refusing to leave. He appeared to be wielding a sword. It happened directly opposite two schools, John Bunyan Juniors and Infants. Worried mums the wrong side of the cordon were told that their children were being kept inside.
Well, the headmistress of the junior school's actually come out. Because another mum went and got her child at the school, so she's come over to reassure us that all the doors are locked and the kids are okay.
You know, they told us the kids are safe, the doors are locked, the children are not coming out. So at the moment, it's just when the school finally finishes, I think everyone's more concerned.
As armed police stood by, the cordon got wider, while what were described as delicate negotiations took place.
You know, you expect to be able to send your kids to school and all this happens.
Early this afternoon, a man was arrested by officers wearing riot gear.
Appropriately equipped officers entered the flat and arrested the man on suspicion of a fray. A samurai sword was recovered from the flat and no one was injured.
Relieved parents collected their children, while just a few yards away, the police investigation began. Well, just behind me, that's the John Bunyan Junior School, and the headmistress issued a statement to us, and it said the health and safety of the children and staff was never under threat. The statement added, "We have been able to reassure parents who have telephoned the school that their children were safe and well," and the headmistress told us that actually they kept the blinds closed during the incident, and most of the children didn't even know there was anything going on. And tonight, a 43-year-old from Braintree is in police custody.
Gareth, thank you very much. Later in the programme, Chris Bell with the week's weather.